Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's Friday.
You sure it ain't Monday?
It is the fifth Monday of the week.
Yeah.
All right, today is part 2 of Greetings from Paul, Romans chapter 1, starting at verse 6. And you are included among those Gentiles who have been called to belong to Jesus Christ. I am writing to all of you in Rome who are loved by God and are called by his own holy people. May God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ give you grace and peace. Now the commentary. Jews and Christians alike stood against the idolatrous Roman religions, and Roman officials often confused the two groups. This was especially easy to do since the Christian church in Rome could have been originally composed of Jewish converts who had attended Pentecost in Jerusalem. See Acts chapter 2, verse 1 through the rest of the chapter. By the time Paul wrote this letter to the Romans, however, many Gentiles had joined the church. The Jews and the Gentiles needed to know the relationship between Judaism and Christianity. Paul says that those who become Christians are invited by Jesus Christ to 1. Belong to God's family, and 2. Be his very own people. What a wonderful expression of what it means to be a Christian. In being reborn into God's family, we have the greatest experience of love and the greatest inheritance. Because of all that God has done for us, we strive to be his holy people. Rome was the capital of the Roman Empire that spread over most of Europe, North Africa, and the Near East. In the New Testament times, Rome was experiencing a golden age. The city was wealthy, literary and artistic. It was a cultural center, but it also was morally decadent. The Romans worshipped many pagan gods, and even some of the emperors were worshipped. In stark contrast to the Romans, the followers of Christ believed in the one God and lived by his high moral standards. Christianity was also at odds with the Roman dependence on military strength. Many Romans were naively pragmatic, believing that any means to accomplish the intended task was good, and for them, nothing worked better than physical might. The Romans trusted their strong military power to protect them against all enemies. Christians in every age need to be reminded that God is the only permanent source of our security and salvation, and at the same time, he is our Father. I think we fall into that trap here in America, thinking that our strength that we think we have in our military or our economy or technology or anything like that, that think that, well, nothing will ever happen to us because we're so powerful. But arrogant is very true, and so we rely less and less on God to help us with any and all of our problems, and think that, well, we're just so mighty and strong enough that we can deal with it on our own. Every empire that's ever tried that has fallen.
Right.
We're just the next one. That's all it really is.
Right.
And these empires are still here, sort of. I mean, Rome is still here. Italy is still there. Greece is still there, but they're not what they were. And
when you take the power onto yourself instead of the person who is power.
Yeah.
God is power.
Mm-hmm.
He created everything.
Right.
We don't have that power.
And he's willing to give us this power to do his work.
Right.
Not necessarily give us the power to do our work, our will, but to do his will, which is far better and higher than our will.
And the one thing to keep in mind is the closer we get to God, the more our will changes to be the same as his.
Right. So we don't need all these conquests and all this other stuff. What we need is to spread his word, his life-giving word, and the knowledge, and try to get people to accept the good news of his free gift of salvation. That is our will, not necessarily to go and conquer and fortunes and fame and everything else. We are here to bring more people to Him through His Word and through Christ.
Right.
Okay. Hope everybody has a glorious day, and we'll talk to you later.